There is a quote from the Dalai Lama that I really like that says, "Remember that sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck." It may turn out that there's something even better for you that comes along. Welcome to Hey Beautiful Creative, the podcast designed to inspire and empower creative entrepreneurs just like you. Whether you're a full-time artist or crafter, a side hustler, or someone dreaming of starting your own creative business, this show is your new best friend, here to support and encourage you on your journey in creative entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Tori Nguyen. With over 2 decades of experience selling my handmade goods online, to boutiques, and at markets, I've been where you are and I'm here to help you grow. My best friend and I also own 2 retail stores and organize large craft markets, which gives me a unique perspective on combining creativity with effective business strategies from both sides of the table. Each week we'll dive into practical business and marketing tips, inspiring artist interviews, and the motivation you need to take your creative dreams and make them your reality. Whether you're looking to boost your confidence, refine your business skills, or take actionable steps toward your goals, this podcast will leave you energized and ready to chase your dreams. Hey, beautiful creative. Welcome to episode 3. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm really grateful to you for listening. I hope that you found this podcast to be helpful and inspiring so far, and I would really love to hear from you, so please don't be shy. Reach out to me anytime on Instagram. I'm at HeyBeautifulCreative, and let me know if there are any topics that you'd like to hear covered, if you have any business questions, or if you just want to give me any feedback about the show. Don't be a stranger. Let's dive into this episode. You apply to a craft market or an art show, and you're really excited about the possible opportunity, and then it happens. You get the dreaded rejection letter. Thank you so much for applying. We're really sorry, but we did not select you or your work. You're crushed. You're disappointed. You're angry. It stings a little or a lot. You were sure you were going to get in, and you really wanted it. So what do? How do you move past this so it doesn't hold you back from trying again? That's what we're talking about today. We are going through the ins and outs of handling rejection. How do you handle that with grace and professionalism so that it doesn't stop you in your tracks? So first, remember that you're in good company. Everyone, and I mean everyone, who's putting their work out into the world has dealt with rejection at some point. Even the most famous and successful people. It's a part of doing business, and it's a part of putting yourself out there. And sometimes, honestly, it can be a blessing, but we'll talk about that more later. If you listened to episode 1, you already know that I was rejected from the very first event that I applied to sell my purses at. It was an arts festival. It probably wasn't really truly the best venue for me or the right fit, but I didn't realize that at the time. So that's on me, and that's something that you learn as you go. Part of the application process for this event included submitting photos of your booth display. Since I had never sold at an event, I didn't even have a display. I had to conceptualize it and then physically create one just so I could photograph it. My parents helped me build it. I got it all set up. I took the photos, and then I didn't get into the show, so I didn't actually get to use that display. And I was so disappointed. I was very crushed, and I was angry. That also wasn't the last time that my work was rejected from something either. Over the years, there have been many events that I haven't gotten into. It still happens. I like to take photographs, so I've applied to some photography shows, and I have had the honor of having a couple photos selected for things, but I've had my work rejected more times than it's been accepted. I think the more rejection you face, the easier it is to deal with and the less it hurts, and the more you're able to say, okay, well, that wasn't the right fit for me at this moment. and then you move on from it. I also want to point out that I'm trying to say that my work was rejected, not that I was rejected, because it's not me, Tori, the human, who's being rejected from these things. It's something that I've made that people are considering. And I think it's important that you separate yourself from your work, even though I know that it feels very personal and it's very connected because it's something that you have created. But I want you to separate that you, the human, are not being rejected. Okay? Okay. I think it would be good to look at some of the reasons why people's work isn't chosen for something. A lot of it boils down to timing and also the taste of the people who are making those selections. Perhaps it just wasn't what the jury or whoever's making that choice, it wasn't what they were looking for at that time. It's possible, like I mentioned with myself earlier, that your work just isn't quite the right fit for that market, for that show. And that one can be harder to discern for yourself, but I think that gets easier over time too. It's kind of figuring out, is this event where my people are, or where my shoppers are, where my customers are? When people are putting together a selection of work for a show or an event, they're choosing a mix of styles and a mix of products, a mix of looks. That is what they think makes the best mix for that event. So sometimes your products or your art just weren't quite in the mix of what they felt made the right mix. It doesn't mean that your work isn't good or that it's not interesting or that you should quit. It just means that the people who were making that decision chose other items that they felt together made the best representation of how they want to present their event to the world. Also, there's a ton of competition out there. It's fierce, and there's just not enough space to accept all of the talented people who are applying to things. Keep that in mind too. I can tell you what not to do. If you get a rejection, please, please, please do not, under any circumstance, send a nasty or angry email to the jury, to the event organizer, whoever it was. Do not rant about it on your social media and bash the organization. It's totally fine to say, I'm disappointed I didn't get into this. But don't take jabs at the organization. That's very unprofessional. I don't really think that anybody listening to this podcast would do either of those things, but I do have experience as a craft fair organizer, and I can tell you from experience that this does happen, and people actually send nasty emails when they don't get accepted. It's baffling to me because they're running a business. You're running a business and you want to put your best foot forward. So coming at someone being like, hey, I can't believe you didn't accept me because I'm amazing and you're stupid, is really not the best way to handle that. Think of it like if you applied for a job and you don't get the job, would you ever send an angry email to the hiring person just telling them that they're an idiot? You wouldn't. So this is also not an appropriate time to do that. Totally normal to feel upset about it, right? And maybe you want to type out the email that you'd like to send, but type it in a blank draft and don't send it. Just get those feelings out. If you get rejected from something, here are some things that you can do. The first is to feel your feelings, but don't let them take up permanent residence in your head. We're not going to hold on to this forever. We're going to feel it and let it go. Also, be proud of yourself for putting your work out into the world. It takes courage, it takes guts, and you did it. In my 20s, I used to do Taekwondo. Sometimes you would go to throw a kick and just fall flat on the ground, like really suddenly. Your foot would go out from under you and you would slam on the wood floor, and it hurt. And it also was kind of a shock, and it was embarrassing. But my teacher would say, falling means you're trying. That applies here too. You're trying. So being rejected from something, not having your work accepted, is also just a sign that you're trying and you are putting your work out there. So again, go back to the last one. Be proud of yourself for doing it and for trying. Now, if you received an email from the show, the organization, you could reply with a short note thanking that person for their time and thanking them for considering your work. You could wish them a great show. You could let them know that you can't wait to check it out. If it was a market or an event and you want to be considered if another vendor cancels, let the show organizers know that you're available for that and that you would be thrilled to fill in if there's an opening. Also, let them know if you're available on short notice, because sometimes people cancel like the day before or even the day of. If you're someone who can fill in on that short of a notice, it's really, really helpful for the organizers to know that, and that might be a really good way for you to get your foot in the door. You could also ask the organizer of a market if they have time to provide you any feedback that would help you strengthen your application in the future, or if they have ideas of maybe why your work wasn't selected. Know that they're busy, so they may not get back to you right away, but it is okay to ask for that feedback. Also, use this as an opportunity to learn and to improve for the next time you apply to something. So think about, was this event or show truly the right fit for your work? If the answer is yes, then think about how you could improve your application for the next time. Maybe you didn't submit the best photos, or maybe your photos or your website aren't reflecting your most up-to-date work. When you're applying for something, you want to give them the best of what you've got, because they're judging from just what you've given them. So you want to make sure that what they see is the best. Also, keep trying. Sometimes people need to see your work more than once. Sometimes, if you truly think that's a good fit for your work, just keep at it. And the more they see your name and the more they see your work, I think the better chance you have of getting a spot in the future. Remember also that rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It's feedback. And it's feedback that the opportunity wasn't the right thing for you at that time. There is a quote from the Dalai Lama that I really like that says, "Remember that sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck." It may turn out that there's something even better for you that comes along. Say you applied to an outdoor event and you didn't get in. Maybe the weather turns out to be horrible that day, or something else comes up in your life that would have prevented you from participating or would have really caused a lot of stress for you. I think it's really good to just trust that you're in the right place at the right time, you're on the right path, and the universe is going to support you. So if something doesn't go your way, it might actually be for the best at this time, even though it's hard if you're disappointed that you weren't given this opportunity. But let the rejection fuel you to move forward to even better things. If you're needing a little nudge to move forward, take my Creative Kickstart 5-Day Challenge. You'll get 5 days of emails with quick actionable steps to move you through blocks and toward your dreams. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you next week. If you enjoyed this episode or found it helpful, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would write a review, share it on your socials, or forward it to a friend. Be sure to subscribe or follow the show wherever you listen to your podcast so you don't miss out on upcoming episodes. And check out heybeautifulcreative.com for more resources designed to help you take your creative dreams and turn them into your reality. See you next week.